I want to start off by thanking Rabbi Ariel for inviting me to say Dvar Torah. He asked me to start off by introducing myself. My name is Shmuel Kaminetsky, and I think the best way to introduce myself is to start the first pasuk or the second pasuk of the Parsha. It says, Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen. Pinchas, the son of Elazar, the son of Aaron HaKohen. And Rashi tells us that Lefikach ba kasav yichsei achar Aaron. The pasuk comes and gives his yichos back to Aaron, from Pinchas to Elazar to Aaron. So my whole schus of being here tonight is b'schus my father, Mordechai Kaminetsky, Yeshiva of Yeshiva South Shore, and of course my grandfather, Rabbi Kaminetsky, the founder of Yeshiva South Shore and the founder of the Five Towns community, when he came in the 1950s and started the first shul, the first yeshiva, and it grew from there. The end of last week's parasha, the pasuk tells us that Pinchas was the one who came and he saw the terrible avera that Zimri did, and he stood up from the entire congregation and he took a spear, and Rashi tells us that Roa Maisa, he saw this story, nizkar halacha, and he remembered the halacha. Amar lo Moshe, he told Moshe, V'koblani mimcha, didn't I accept from you, didn't I learn from you, Habayla Ramas Kanoim Paigamboy, that there's such a halacha, someone who does such a thing, the Kanoim go and the Kanoim kill him. Amaloi Moshe told him, Karaina de Igrasa, he who read the letter, he who learned the halacha, Iu lahevi pavanka, he should go and carry it out. So miyad, right away, Vayikach roi mach biyodai, he took the spear in his hand and he went ahead and he carried out that he killed Zimri and he killed the Midyanis as well. So the question is, why Pinchas was zeicha? Why was Pinchas the one? What midah did he have? What characteristic did he have? What was in him that he was the one who was able to carry out this halacha? It's a very interesting Ramban, which may shed light on this. The Ramban, in last week's parasha, when speaking about the Mei Meriva, the Ramban tells us, in the name of the Rambam, the Ramban says that the Rambam tells us why was Moshe the one, what was the Avera of Moshe? What did Moshe do so wrong by hitting the rock? So the Ramban tells us that Moshe Rabbeinu got up and he said in front of the entire Klal Yisrael, Shimu na hamayrim, listen here, rebellers. And he got upset. And the Rambam tells us that Klal Yisrael looked at Moshe and they thought that Hashem was upset at them. And Hashem was angry at them. Why? Because they saw Moshe as someone who had zero emotion from himself. He had no feelings. He didn't get angry. He wasn't impatient. Every single action that Moshe Rabbeinu did was scripted exactly what he was supposed to do at that moment, as if the Rebbeinu Shalom himself was doing that action through Moshe Rabbeinu. Every word was the Rebbeinu Shalom's word, and every action was the Rebbeinu Shalom's action. So in Klal Yisrael, so Moshe got angry, they didn't think for a second that he had his own emotions, his own feelings. They thought that it was the Rebbeinu Shalom that got upset at them, and that was incorrect. And it says the Rambam that was the Avera of Moshe. The Ramban goes and the Ramban argues on that. But with this theme, we could say that Moshe Rabbeinu tells Pinchas, when Pinchas took the spear and he says to Moshe, didn't you teach us this halacha, that Boil Arama is Kanoim Poigim? And Moshe Rabbeinu said, oh, that's it. That is the definition of this halacha. There has to be someone who Ra Maisa V'Nizkar halacha, and he's someone who gets up with the spear, because the anger of Hashem and the kanois, the zealousness of Hashem, has to come through a person's passions, his characteristics, his midos, his personality. Everything about that person has to be a reflection of what their Rebbeinu Shalom wants. And when Pinchas took that spear, Pinchas was personifying in his kanois, his zealousy, was the exact action that their Rebbeinu Shalom wanted. And only such a person is zoicha to carry out this halacha of kanoim poigim bay. The Gemara tells us that if you go to Beis Din to ask a shayla, should I kill him or should I not? Beis Din would tell him, no, don't kill him, because if you're asking, that's not the halacha. It has to be someone who's going to carry out with his own feelings, reflecting what their Rebbeinu Shalom wanted from him. And this theme is continued in this week's parasha as well later on. The Psukim tell us about Bnei Tzlavchad, that they came, then they said, Avinu Meis Bamidbar, our father died in the desert and he didn't get a portion. So Lo Manigara, why should we be left out? We also want a part of Eretz Yisrael. And then Moshe Rabbeinu tells them, he goes and speaks to Hashem, and Hashem tells Moshe that, of course, there's halachas of Yerusha, that a person who dies, he doesn't have sons, so his daughters get his inheritance. And Rashi tells us that this halacha was supposed to be said through Moshe Rabbeinu, but because the Bnei Tzlofchad wanted, they had such a passion and such a desire for it, so therefore this halacha was said through them as well. And you see, this is the same thing, that someone who has a desire, someone who has a passion, that's someone who the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. I want to end off with a bracha that we're going now into the period of the Bein HaBetzarim between Shavas B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av. It's a period of mourning for Yerushalayim. But we daven and we say in Kedusha, V'simlech aleinu ki mechakem anachnu lach. Hashem, we daven, Hashem should rule on us because we want you. Now, where do we find anywhere that we're going to get something because we want it? But when it comes to Mashiach, when it comes to the rebuilding of the Beis HaMikdash, this is exactly what Hashem wants. He wants to see our passion, our desire. Do we want it? Is it something that we want? Are we people who respond to an action with a feeling of zealousness, with a feeling of a desire, with a feeling of passion? And we tell Hashem, V'simlech aleinu, Hashem should rule on us with Mashiach. Why? Ki mechakem anachnu lach, because we are waiting. That's the reason, for no other reason.